There we go. Perfect, Pete. So first of all, again, thanks so much for your time. I'm excited to hear from you, to hear from your experience. And I do have a series of questions to go over. But if you feel like expressing anything like that doesn't necessarily fall into the question, like by all means, you're open to share here. Um, I want to listen from you, like, how's it been for you to join REI call center, the full experience? And yeah, let's start with the first question, which is, what was your absolute biggest challenge prior to joining REI call center?
Not knowing too much about cold calling itself, and the process behind once the lead is generated, things like that. But I mean, after seeing multiple people have their success with it, and then not only that, but having a team that helps you with the entire process, that kind of alleviated all the stress as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like you already kind of answered a little. Could you go a little more into this? How did it feel to have this challenge before joining REI call center? What was the feeling like to be challenged by that?
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, you're looking at something and not knowing the entire process of it as a whole, right? You're kind of just looking at it as a challenge. It's a new thing I have to learn and stuff like that. But again, having the team on board and having a group of other people that have already gone through it and have already used cold calling as a whole, having them share their experiences, things like that, and kind of just as like a helping hand throughout the entire process, it just made it go that much easier, that much quicker. The learning and implementing as a whole, both of those.
Perfect. Thank you. And what changed? Again, you already answered a little bit about this. If you could give us a little more detail or just share whatever you feel called to share. What changed after joining now REI and getting your own VA?
Yeah. So again, the learning and implementing that helped a ton. But what helped the most for me was getting over that hurdle was within I'd say the first month. And then I ended up picking up a second VA just because of how quickly things progressed. Right. So I picked up the first VA. I found success with the first one. And then just with the implementation and just learning from everybody that's a part of the team as a whole, and giving feedback from the VAs to myself and myself to the VAs left and right, and everybody just being on board of the same entire process really helped a ton. And that was what made it easier for me to pick up the second VA and so on and so forth.
That's so cool. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's so cool. And what specific results can you share? If you were able to get a second VA, that's pretty cool. Yeah, any results that you've had?
Yeah, so a little bit of a backstory on that. I was doing text blasting. I was doing direct mail for about 4 to 5 months that I was trying those out. Didn't really have much success with it. And then, like I said, I always saw the cold calling, and it was kind of just a mysterious thing. It sounds like a lot. I'm gonna have to input lists and things like that, a script. But again, REI call center has their own script, so you don't have to worry about any of that. It was very turnkey. But as far as the successes, as soon as I think I want to say it was mid-September, about September 15th, I picked up a VA, the first one. And then October 5th, via one of the cold calls, I was able to lock up a deal. And then within that same week, I was able to lock up a second deal. And those both closed in November. And like I said, I was doing text blasting and direct mail for previous 5 months, with little to no success on that part. And then in September, I picked up the first VA, and I was able to lock up 2 contracts 2.5 weeks later. And then those both closed in beginning of November. And that's from cold calling, yeah. And then I was able to pick up a second VA I want to say, so it was within that same week that the deal had closed in November, or both deals had closed. Picked up a second VA. I started putting different systems in place, and then I was getting more leads coming in. And here we are, mid-December. Tomorrow, I'm locking up 2 more deals. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's been, turning and burning left and right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a really cool success story.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence of getting their own VA with REI?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I would say is to go out and do it, because again, I've tried a number of different forms of marketing, and the number one for me at least has been cold calling. And with, like I mentioned before, with REI call center, it's very turnkey. You're not training the VAs on your own. You're not implementing a script on your own. You're not having to, because that could be a job in itself, right? Trying to figure out your own script. It's very turnkey. It's kind of just like a plug and play kind of deal. So I would say just go out and do it. It's worth it 100% in my opinion.
So cool. Thanks a lot. So cool. I love this. And is there anything else that you would like to add to this?
Gosh, I really just want to hit on, going out and doing it. Because I was on the fence for a while. I really was. I had always heard cold calling was great, a great marketing strategy. But again, I was always looking at it as, I'm going to have to train the VAs. I'm going to have to figure out my own script. I'm going to have to do a number of things on top of trying to close the deals. But that's the only thing I would add right there is actually go out and do it, because the minute, or I wouldn't say the minute, the point that I actually picked up the VA within a couple of weeks, I picked up the first 2 deals.
Wow.
So that it's very effective, 100%.
Do you mind me asking, you mentioned that you were also on the fence for a while there. What do you feel kept you there? This is great, like research for me as well.
Yeah. What kept me there was not really knowing, not knowing too much about it, right? That's really what it came down to. Not knowing too much about it, because you see a lot of stuff, I guess you can say it's kind of like the shiny object syndrome, where you see direct mail is the best, text blasting is the best, cold calling. There's so many different strategies out there, and so many different things being pushed out there. Until I saw someone playing at a high level, most of their marketing came from cold calling, and most of their successes came from cold calling. That's whenever I figured, hey, if he's doing it, he's getting a ton of deals. I'm not going to try and do anything different. I'm going to do the same exact thing. So that's whenever I picked up the VA. And that's kind of what led me to picking up the VA, was seeing someone playing at a high level, doing only cold calling. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. How it's not necessary to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Better open up to learn to those who are doing it.
Right.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pete. So that's actually all the questions that I had. As I mentioned, it's a very short interview, but this is, let me tell you, very valuable content that you just shared here. So thank you very much for sharing your input. Do you grant us permission to use this testimony for our marketing material?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Perfect. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. So if there's nothing else that you'd like to add, this is it. So yeah, I just thank you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. If you guys need anything else, you got my number in the WhatsApp. Just shoot me a text or something. Let me know.
Yes, thanks a lot. I really, really appreciate it.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.